Hello, my little lovelies. Today in math, we're looking at rounding. And before we start rounding, before we jump in, we got to know, well, hey, what do we do with rounding? Um, we are going to look at the rounding rules. Step one, step one, the rule says to find the rounding place, and then you circle it, okay? And then step two, go next door. You underline the digit next door. Step three, you ask, is the number next door, is it four or less? So if it's four or less, let it rest. If it's five or more, raise the score. You never know. You might see these again on when we have our quiz. So these rules, and then I like the little study points here, or the little helpful ways to study it, so it helps us remember the steps to do. And step four, change all the numbers to the right of the circle to 0. So I'm gonna turn my iPad now, okay, and now I'm gonna have, oopsie daisy. My split screen. So I've got my rounding rules over here on the left hand side, and I'm going to use these rounding rules to help me with rounding today, okay? So we're just going to the hundreds place. We're starting out small, okay? So directions round each number to the nearest tens place. When you hear me reading off a rule, I'm reading it from this side. So we're rounding to the nearest tens place. So ones, this is tens. All right. So I find the rounding place, which is the tens, and I'm gonna circle that. Okay. Go next door, underline the digit. Step 3, is it 4 or less? Well, it's a 2, so it is less than. If it's 5 or more, raise the score. Step 4, change all the numbers to the right of the circle to 0. So we know that our 2 didn't change value. So the nearest tens place would be 20, right? And now we've got 68. Step 1 says, find the rounding place. They told us to round to the nearest tens. All right, number 2, go next door, underline the digit. Step 3, 4 or less, let it rest. Well, it's not 4 or less, it is 8. So we got to round up. 5 or more, raise the score. So change all the numbers to the right. So that 8 tells us that the 7, it has to go up to 7 because 6 is after 7. And then all numbers to the right of the tens place become zeros. So let's look at 95. Again, we're looking at the tens place. The 9 is in the tens place. So I keep underlining it. We're supposed to circle it. All right. And then go next door, underline the digit. It's a 5. So it's 5 or more, so we got to raise the score. So that 9 becomes 10. And then it says change all the numbers to the right of a circle, 0. So we've got 10, and I got to add another 0. So 84. The number in the tens place is the 8. Step 2, go next door, underline the digit. I'm going next door, I'm underlining 4. 3, if it's 4 or less, let it rest. So change all the numbers to the right. So 8, we said let it rest because it's below 4. All the numbers to the right become 0. 79, find the rounding place and circle it. 79, okay? And then 2, go next door, underline the digit. So 79 is in the tens place. The 9 is in the ones place. So 5 or more, raise the score. So the 9 is 5 or more. We got to raise the score for the 7. So that's 8. Everything to the right of it becomes 0. And then F, 53. So we got to circle the 5 and 53. Find the rounding place and circle it. We did that. Step 2, go next door and underline the digit. It's an 8. If it's 5 or more, raise the score. So an 8 is more than 5. So the 5 becomes a 6. And then step 4, change all the numbers to the right of a circle, 0. Now, if you know how to do the rest of this and you've already gotten the hang of it and this review has been enough for you, you can turn it off and you can finish the rest of it on your own and then submit it in Schoology. For those of you that need to keep going, we're going to work a few more. So here, we're looking at the tens place. Go next door, underline the digit. It's a 7. If it's 5 or more, it's a 7. Raise the score. So the 10 becomes 11, and that 7 becomes 0. So the nearest tens place would be 110. And then H, 225. Find the rounding place, circle it. Okay? So go next door, underline the digit. It's a 5, so step 3, 5 or more, raise the score. So 22 becomes 23. And then all numbers to the right become 0. 118, find the rounding place and circle it. 118. So 10, find the rounding place. All right. Go next door, underline the digit. 5 or more, and it is because it's 8. So we got to raise the score. That 1 becomes a 2, and then a 0 goes to the right of this. All the numbers to the right become 0, and then J, 385. Find the rounding place. Tens, circle it. Go next door for step 2, underline the digit. Step 3, 4 or less, let it rest. Nope, it's 5 or more, raise the score. So this 8 becomes a 9, and then we got to bring down the 3. All the numbers to the right of a circle become 0. 882, we're looking for the tens place. All right, we look to, we underline the one next to it. Is it 4 or less? Let it rest. Yes, so that 8 is going to stay the same. All numbers to the right become 0. 224. Find the rounding place and circle it. 2. Okay, go next door, underline the digit. If it's 4 or less, let it rest. It is. It's exactly 4, so that's going to be 2 in the tens place, 2 in the hundreds place, and then 0 because all numbers to the right become a 0. I want you to finish. Well, let's work a few hundred ones. Well, okay. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention that we had hundreds up there. I want you to finish or both of these columns here for me. Finish both of those and then submit it in Schoology.